Hello, this is a fabulous client of ours, Beautiful Spaces in Woking, Surrey. Um, they do a lot of garden maintenance, grounds maintenance, but an element of landscaping and garden design too. And with their website, we were trying to really focus on the full range of different things that they do. Let me show you their old site, and then try and explain what we've done on the new site and why we've done it and how it's working and so on. So this is their old site. It obviously looked quite dated. It didn't really show off just how good they are at what they do. The photos were great. You know, there's lots and lots of good photos, lots of beautiful gardens. They're doing maintenance on a lot of properties, and therefore, you know, they have the ability to make the garden look fantastic and then take the photos after. A lot of our landscaping customers, they can't do that because obviously they plant out a new garden and nothing's growing when they leave. So when you're doing maintenance, life is often a bit easier as far as photographs are concerned. Um, but really, the old site, it didn't show them off to the best of its ability in terms of what they can do. Um, there's a team page, and a team page is, I think, one of the key things to a landscaping garden design website, because people want to know who will be turning up. They want to just check you out beforehand. So having a good team page with lots of photos on there is key. Let me show you what we've done with their site. So there's obviously three elements. There's landscaping, the new build side of things. There's the domestic gardening, and then there's the grounds maintenance. So we need to try and attract all three of those. Now the reality is they've got a lot of domestic gardening work. They like to get more landscaping design and build work, and they'd like to get some more commercial grounds maintenance work. So those are really the two main focuses. As far as the website goes, the first thing to note is it's simple. The great thing about building websites in this industry is that we have loads of beautiful photos. So really, the key thing has to be the photo, not the actual design of the website. So keeping everything around the edges still. So I don't know if you can see along the header here, we've got a slight pattern behind just to break things up, but really it's trying to give in this area here all the key information readily and easily, because when someone first looks at a website like this, what they're going to see is this beautiful garden here. That's what their eyes are going to focus on. So we want that to be as large and as impactful as possible. And then here is the information they need, i.e. here are the services, past projects, about the company, etc. Here's how you get in touch with a phone, contact form, social media, and so on. So it's it's all there in a very organized way, with the photo being the key thing, and a sales message um, in the eye line, so it gets spotted straight away. Further down the website, we're trying to do a few things. It's a home page, and therefore we want as much text as possible because it's key to search ranking. But we also want to try and show what they do, give examples of past projects, talk about who they are and so on. Really, a summary of everything that's on the website, like a sort of a contents in a book, giving a rundown on everything that's in there. So we've got blocks of text about their services. We've got photos of past work. We've then got links through to the services themselves, some reasons to use them, calls to action, sales messages, a short gallery on the homepage. Reviews are a great thing in this industry, and they've got 44 Google reviews. They're all 5 stars. So we've got a little feed from Google here, so people can actually see the reviews, can scroll through them. We've also got this one down here that you can click on and see a load more reviews. The great thing about this one down here, and we use this on a lot of websites, is that it's always there in the bottom left corner, no matter what page you're on. So you scroll up, you scroll down, it remains there. It's always in the eye line. We find that if we put a reviews or a testimonials page on a website, people will generally ignore it because they know it's going to be full of 5 star reviews. Otherwise, why would you do it? But if you have this sort of thing, that gets stumbled across whilst looking around, there's far more chance you'll actually look at it. And even if you don't read the words, you'll just take in the fact that they've got 5 star reviews from 44 people. So they're probably pretty good at what they do. just down the bottom here, we've got links to some of the blog posts, and that the footer is an important thing. It's not necessarily used by people a lot, but it gives Google a way of getting around the website, of showing where all the pages are, giving them a good way to visit all the pages, because a key part of search ranking is that all the pages are linked together, that Google can find the pages, look at the pages, and so on. And if pages are linked from the home page, they're probably a more important page than if they're not linked from the home page, if they're only linked from an internal page. So, we're using that to give a way of getting around. So the home page then is that sort of contents, that overview, a summary of everything that's within. And then beyond that, we've got pages for their key services. So landscaping is what we're trying to help them grow. And therefore, we've broken it down into their main services. And as they do more and more landscaping work, we'll increase that. So when they do some pergola projects, when they do some garden lighting and so on, we'll add more pages in there and start targeting those in search ranking as well. Domestic gardening, grounds maintenance projects, the blog is really there for SEO purposes. The good thing about a blog is that we can put a lot of words in there aimed at search ranking to bring somebody into the website, and then once they're here, then they can look around and they can look at the interesting pages, all the colorful stuff, the stuff that they really care about. Now, one thing on this site that is working extremely well is under the About section, we've got a Meet the Team page. We find if we put a good team page on a website, it will get a lot of views and it will get a lot of time on the page. One of the reasons for that is people like people. Most landscaping websites, garden websites, they just have photos of the work. And it can get a bit samey when you're looking through. But the moment you put in, here is who's behind the company, particularly when you do it in the way that they've done, when you actually show people working on site, the viewers love that. They'll spend a lot of time on this page and they'll look down and they'll see who everybody is, and they'll scroll down and look at the faces, etc. It gives a sense of who the company is. It gives a sense of what they're like, what they work for, and that sort of trust is built up, because if you've got something to hide, you wouldn't show it. If you weren't confident that your team is good, you wouldn't put all their pictures and their names and so on the website. So this team page works extremely well. People are on it on an average for about a minute. And I always think to myself, with the websites we build, that there are some pages designed for SEO, the blog as an example. There are pages designed to give people information, like the landscaping, gardening, grounds maintenance pages. And then there are selling pages. Project pages definitely are selling pages. About the company is a selling page. Meet the team is a selling page. And any good inquiry, any good potential customer is going to look at this, is going to look at this, and is going to look at this before they pick up the phone or fill in the contact form, because it's just what we do. We want to do a bit of due diligence to double check that a company is good and looks trustworthy and everything else before we get in touch with them. So having several of these selling pages is key. And one of the most effective is the Meet the Team page, because it tells so much about who you are as a business and how you work. So that page works very well. It's a nice website. It's really built around the photos, and they do have so many good photos to work with from so many impressive gardens that they've built and that they maintain, which makes our job pretty easy. When we don't have many good photos, it becomes a lot more difficult to make it all look impressive and have that wow factor. But with beautiful spaces, it's quite an easy job. There's so much to show and to say about who they are and what they do. So I hope that gives a good insight. The website's been live about 6 months now, and it's worlds away from where they were before. The photos are the same. There's a few new ones, but the majority of photos are the same. But it's more the displaying them in a more impressive way, a more elegant way, if you like, to sort of show off exactly what they've done in the past. So I hope that gives a good insight into how it's put together and why we've done it in this way.